Hey everybody, welcome to another SketchyGOichie. This time we are drawing, or I'm going to try and teach you how I draw Black Adam. Don't have a lot of knowledge on this character, forgive my ignorance, but it doesn't stop me from trying, and I don't recommend you intentionally put up any barriers for yourself. I'm going to quickly sort of bang through the rough stages. Just a series of shapes that I scratch and scratch and scratch until the most desired shape emerges. This is a little bit outside of my normal style. It's pretty close, but I like this sort of this brute on top and the smaller legs, and it's kind of a nod to the old school cartoons of yesterday or yesteryear, where they would draw a sort of big bruiser character in this way. Huge upper body, small head, and small legs. So quickly, on to the inking stage. In terms of how I draw, and hopefully this will reflect, not necessarily reflect in how you draw, but certainly the approach is sound, I hope. The fact that I go in and kind of render it out loosely, and then I personally use the ink to really do the drawing, to really kind of tighten it up. And if you notice, speaking of tightening it up, the line weight, notice how the thickest line generally is away from the light. It's a great way of giving your characters some, rooting your characters, or objects, or anything you render. I know in my most recent videos, it's been kind of a series of loose characters or tighter characters, but I think at some point I'm going to do some rendering of other things from life, maybe some cars and some spaceships and some other fun things. But I love drawing characters, but I also, in addition, love drawing like vehicles and aircraft and sea vehicles and all that other stuff. So I think I'm gonna throw some of that stuff in here too at some point. But for now, in honor of the movie, I'm gonna continue on with this Black Adam villain. I know that much in the history of the character, villain of Shazam. And as you can see here, I'm also I'm indicating the areas where I'm going to spot the heavy blacks, because let's face it, his costume is essentially primarily black. But rather than just filling those, his arms and chest and legs with just big fields of black, you notice there's these highlighted shapes that have kind of carved out of the blackness. It's kind of where the light reflects, and it's kind of a comic book approach to deceiving the eye into thinking there is some dimensionality to the black. I'm not sure who established it in the history. Again, I just I draw first and ask questions later. But yeah, so whoever did, I much respect, and I honor you every time I fill a character in with black. But now I'm filling the character in. You notice I applied the gray on its own layer, again in Procreate, and underneath everything. And then I've been in this kick of drawing lightning lately. You'll notice that if you look at some of my videos over the last month. But I like drawing the lightning with no binding outline. It's literally just grab the pen. That I don't have a lightning pen, but I grabbed a pen and found the right size that will allow me to make these thicks and thins and these jagged shapes and edges. That's on its own layer, and now I'm starting to apply the flat color. It's on its own layer, and then I will apply a layer on top of that once I've completed sort of blocking in these color shapes, flat, no gradient, just literally solid color. There will be a layer I will apply on top, and then click on clipping mask, and that will connect it. That clipping mask, and I'll mask any sort of highlights and shadow as I'm starting to apply now. So obviously he's got lightning at his feet, so it seemed to make sense to me that I'm going to shadow him in such a way that it would appear that the light is coming from kind of that left side. below. So the light is sort of projecting up, which in turn means the darkest shading obviously will be away from the light. And so that's what that's the effect I'm going for. And then as you can see, when I highlight along the gold parts of his costume, you will then see that the lightish part, the lightest reflective part, will face the lightning, or face the light source. It's not a trick, it's just, it's universal. It's something that everyone who's learning to draw and paint and with color learns at a very young age to, like many of you are who are watching, is to apply your harshest, or should I say your most intense highlight as close to the light source, and then sort of gradually get darker as you go away from the light source. And even though I'm using a very simple color palette, as well as a simple rendering technique, I think it still applies, and it still helps to give the character some not 3D, but what I'm calling 2.5D quality to it. And you'll see there's some highlights on the opposite side where the light is, and I always, that's sort of that reflective, that bounce light that happens when objects kind of have a more of a spherical shape to it. There's some light that kind of bounces off of other surfaces and creates highlight along the opposite side. So anyways, putting the finishing touches, hopefully you noticed that the lightning got a bit brighter. I just applied a screen, changed the setting from normal to screen, and that's what gave it that sort of a little brighter color to the lightning. And then I love to add this little sort of like scratchy sort of outline around the entire shape. Just a fun little stylistic thing. It's you don't have to do it, but I like it. I must have saw an artist do it many years ago and kind of adapted it to my own personal style. All right, finishing touches. Black Adam, lightning just about done. He's about done. I'm about done. So, SketchyGOichie, live your moment. Happy sketching, y'all. Peace. Oh, don't be afraid to subscribe. Tell all your friends to subscribe while you're at it. All right, I'm out.